Hey everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. Welcome to today's analysis video. Today I'm analyzing Broccoli Mom. It was a request from my Ask Nutrition by Victoria coaching group. If you guys are interested in my coaching, I'll leave a link in the description box of this video and you guys can join up. So yeah, I was requested to analyze Broccoli Mom. It looks like she has a relatively new channel, but she's getting a lot of views in her videos. This was uploaded yesterday. What I eat in a day, down 58 pounds, starch solution, maximum weight loss. So she's lost 58 pounds so far, and she's on a journey to lose the last 10 to 15, following the principles of starch solution and calorie density. So it can be assumed that so far she has used calorie restriction in the form of low calorie density diet to lose weight. This is very popular and very trendy right now to eat a very large volume of food at a very low calorie density so that you lose weight by maintaining a calorie deficit, but you don't feel it because of the volume of the diet. Well, you don't feel it right now, right? So let's get into the video. I'm also not sure how old she is. And I do want to point out that I did notice in the video, granted she's a mom, so like fatigue when you're a mom is real, but like she does look like she has some bags under her eyes, and that is probably from elevated cortisol from just being a mom, but also from chronic under eating. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first things first, she's making breakfast right now. She just talks a lot through this video, so I'm just gonna try to focus on the food. So she made up all these sweet potatoes and she's making breakfast, okay? And it's a very drawn out process. She doesn't say that she's had anything else up to this point. Like I do think she has some kind of a beverage actually. So let's see if I can find that. Yeah, she's talking about sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are great food. Okay, here we go. I don't recommend them for breakfast though. I recommend having fruit for breakfast as it digests better. But when you're following this low calorie density thing, the goal is to feel really full after your meals, and sweet potatoes are great for doing that. They're definitely potatoes are a very satiating food. And if your goal is, minimal calories for max volume, you're going to want to include potatoes at your meal.
That looks like when I put it all together, and I'll tell you what I did. So I'm obviously having a tea.
Okay, she's having tea. This is very standard for people who are dieting. Now, I want you to notice that it is light outside, and I believe she's in London. So when it's light outside this time of year in London, it's going to be about 8 a.m. and she hasn't eaten anything yet. And this is her tea. So I'm not sure if it's caffeinated or uncaffeinated, but this is very standard for people who follow a restrictive diet.
Oh, I'd fill you in on that front. And I did want to chat about my plans in India. So not what we're doing, where we're going. I mean food. Most important bit, food. Let's talk about it. So I literally have no idea.
I really just want to know, okay, so let's assume she's going to put that cream in the tea. So she's getting sugar in her tea in the form of like a creamer, and that is how she's starting her day. It's already light outside. Maybe she just woke up. She's probably actually been up for a while with the baby, feeding the child, because generally at that age they need to eat at like 6 or 7 a.m. like breast milk or formula or whatever. And she gets into talking here about how she's going to India and like food choices and stuff like that there. So I'm going to play a little bit of that just so I can chime in.
It's one of those things. I used to be a very all or nothing person. So if I
actually think she's still that way based on what I've seen of this video. that she's very meticulous about her dietary choices and just the way that she prepares this breakfast. Honestly, it takes her until 12 minutes into the video to actually sit down and eat the breakfast, of which the baby actually gets into most of it. So I feel like she still hasn't completely abandoned that control. Let's hear a little bit more what she has to say.
I was doing raw veganism, which is what I tended to go to most of the time in order to lose weight in the past.
So she has a past history of going to raw veganism to lose weight. Most people do that because it's easy to eat low calorie density when you're raw vegan, but it's too low calorie density, so you're not able to sustain it.
And then I remember one time I had a bite of my husband's noodles at 4 months in, and I was like,
4 months of raw vegan is pretty hardcore, but listen to what she says after she had a bite of her husband's noodles after being raw vegan for 4 months.
that's it. It's over. It's done. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to eat the cake. I'm going to have all the things. And
so that is very standard dieting mentality. So she probably thinks she just didn't have the willpower to stick to raw veganism, but in reality, she was probably calorie restricting and then tasting a food that was higher in calorie density, like her husband's noodle dish, made her body like recognize that that was a really good source of calories. So of course, she wasn't going to be able to like stop herself after she kind of like broke the raw vegan fast. So it looks like she's probably translated some of that into what she's doing now because starch solution maximum weight loss is very specific in terms of what you should eat in order to get the results from the diet. And it looks like she's doing that to a T so far with her sweet potato concoction that she's going to be eating soon.
And the ice cream and everything. And what a silly mindset to have, but when you're stuck in it, it's really hard.
And just notice the bags under her eyes too. This is classic calorie restriction, like a appearance.
To get out of that mindset. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have the all or nothing approach anymore. I'm going to make the best possible option in every moment that I possibly can.
And that honestly is what brings you to success with a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet. But you have to not have restrictions on yourself, like the maximum weight loss starch solution model, or the low, I'm just going to do low calorie density model, because really it ends up being more of like a yo-yo diet where you're able to stick to it when you're in control of your diet, but when you're traveling and there's things like she mentions foods being higher in oil, like what about the sugar? Like nobody thinks like, oh, well, if I just add sugar to my diet, it'll be more sustainable.
If I'm in an Indian airport and there's no fruit and I haven't been able to get any potatoes or rice or whatever there happens to be, I don't have a kitchen.
This is when you go to the sweet drinks. This is when you go to the juice. This is when you go to the candies. This is when you bring your own candy. This is when you go to the coffee shop and you get a whole bunch of packets of sugar and you dump it in your water bottle and make like a sugar water. Like that is a better option than eating a meal that has oil in it.
I'm okay.
If weight loss is your goal, that is.
If I have to eat something that has some oil in it, that's okay for me. Obviously, veganism is a non-negotiable for me.
That's awesome. So she's definitely dedicated to veganism. And I think that she's on the right path. I just think that she might be of the anti-sugar mindset. So let's keep watching.
I'm a lifelong vegan, ethical vegan, and there's loads of veggie vegan stuff in India anyway, so that's no issue. But in terms of oil and in terms of things not being optimal, I'm okay if I have to have that every once in a while.
Yeah, and it's okay every once in a while, but you really whenever I travel, I'm able to avoid it completely. So, but I also am pro sugar. So I use candies and juices and sweetened beverages to help tie me over until I can get to my meal where it's going to be a low fat option. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going here. Here she's having her tea. Most people with tea, and beverages, especially when they're calorie restricting, it becomes like a ritual. So it took her, until the 7-minute mark just to have put something in her system on this what I eat in a day video.
Carrots. I know my mum, who also eats this way, is going to be bringing loads of fresh stuff too. So,
well, that's good. She's got her family on board. I mean, Starch Solution is a great diet, but you just have to make sure that you eat enough so you can stick to it and not develop any nutrient deficiencies.
but anyway, I will do the best with what I.
Okay. Okay, so she had tea, and keep in mind she still hasn't eaten anything yet, and it's daylight out, which means her cortisol is high. So having the tea, hopefully the sugar helps to, not elevate her cortisol, too high, because the tea probably had caffeine. So the sugar will help to actually keep cortisol levels normal. So that's just something you want to pay attention to in the morning. You want to get some sugar in to prevent your cortisol from staying elevated throughout the rest of the day, because it should dip around noontime. And that is typically because you're eating, so your body has fuel to run off of, and it doesn't need to use cortisol to initiate your energy cascade. You're just using food at that point. So a big purpose of cortisol in the morning in particular is if you have, normal functioning hormones, your cortisol level will be spiked in the morning time to help you wake up. A lot of that has to do with your internal circadian rhythm, but it also is there to help you find food. So it's there to get you out of bed, and it's also there to help you find food for the day. And then assuming you find food for the day and you eat, your cortisol comes down, and then you're running on your glucose metabolism for the rest of the day. But if you don't eat and you don't get in enough carbohydrates, then your cortisol level can remain elevated through the rest of the day, and that's when a chronic stress response starts to take over, and you experience a lot of long-term deleterious health effects from that, including insulin resistance.
It's pretty. Here we go.
Okay, so this is a sweet potato, oat, banana, coconut concoction. She went into a lot of detail, while she was making this, talking about it. And I feel like she did a little, there's so much prep here, and
because I know it's gonna be good.
There's so much meticulous planning of this meal, and it's breakfast. Breakfast should be the simplest meal of the day, where you're just grabbing something and you're eating it to get those sugars in. She has made some crazy cake mix thing, which she said in the video that she had a sweet tooth, which is great, but why isn't she just eating any fresh fruit? She put half a banana there. Oh, it looks like she's eating a grape here.
I know a lot of people on the Starch Solution omit healthy fats for a short period of time.
So it looks like she's eating some grapes and talking about healthy fats.
Trying to build habits that last a lifetime. And I know.
Well, that's good. She's getting the sugars in. So I'm being overly critical, and maybe she's giving it to the baby.
And I know for the rest of my life.
Oh, she didn't eat it herself. She gave it to the baby.
I want to include healthy fats because they are.
Now she's talking about healthy fats, and the thing with healthy fats is everybody thinks that they need them, and you don't need them at all. And actually, the Starch Solution Maximum Weight Loss Program does not include healthy fats at all. They say avoid all fats, like nuts, seeds, avocado, coconut, all of it, to maximize your results, which that part of the book is 100% accurate. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. The fat you eat goes directly to fat storage. So this whole concept of healthy fats, you get enough healthy fats from just eating, low-fat plant foods. All low-fat plant foods contain sufficient amounts of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in the appropriate ratios that are, anti-inflammatory and necessary for the building of the tissues that we need to be built from the fatty acids. But it's such a red flag when people say healthy fats, because it automatically tells me or insinuates that they're anti-sugar, they're calorie restricting, and they're pro healthy fats because that's a dense source of calories. And for whatever reason, because it's trending, they can justify it. But no, you just need more carbohydrate, no healthy fats. unless your goal is weight gain. So if her goal is weight loss, you want to avoid the healthy fats.
They're vital for your body.
They're vital for your body, but you don't need to eat concentrated sources of them. Leafy greens, fresh fruits, not so much starches, but yeah, starches for the omega-6. But for omega-3s, fresh fruit and leafy greens is all you need to do in order to meet all you need to eat in order to meet your omega-3 fatty acid requirements. Just eating enough calories though. So if you're following a 1,500 calorie meal plan, then of course you're going to end up deficient not only in fatty acids, but you're going to end up deficient in a whole bunch of other nutrients, versus if you're eating a 3,000 calorie diet and you're meeting all your needs and you're only eating low fat foods, but you're also now meeting your energy and your nutrient requirements.
So I don't neglect those, but I am smart.
She doesn't neglect them, but she's smart about them.
And I don't go crazy with them. So I'll tell you my thought process here. So usually I have flax or chia or hemp seeds in the morning. But because I wanted the coconut, which is a higher fat item as well, for this,
she wouldn't desire the fats if she wasn't restricting her carbohydrates. So carbohydrate restriction and fat intake go hand in hand. When you increase your carbohydrate intake, your desire for fats decrease. When you lower your carbohydrate intake, your desire for fats increase. And if weight loss is her goal, she's going to want to minimize her intake of fats as much as possible because they increase insulin resistance and decrease insulin sensitivity.
Stage, I have decided to omit the flax, chia, or hemp, and instead I have
So she still hasn't eaten anything yet today. I thought maybe the grapes, because I was like rambling about how, you should just eat something with carbohydrates like first thing in the morning. I mean, even while cooking, like drinking some juice or something, her tea had negligible amount of calories, maybe 15 calories from the creamer. And here is, her concoction. So she made dessert for breakfast. This is a great option, but like have something else prior to it. It's probably like 10 o'clock already in the morning by now, and her cortisol level is remaining elevated to get her through this video and until she eats this meal, and then it'll come down. But she's already kind of set herself up for the rest of the day to have elevated cortisol if she's waiting this long to eat.
It is delicious. I'll tell you what this tastes like. This tastes like bounty. It's got that chocolate coconut vibe and the sweetness from the sweet.
The other thing, she added cocoa to this, and that is a stimulant. It's a neurotoxin, it's a stimulant, and it aids in suppressing your appetite, actually.
Potato and the banana, and the kind of, well, it's kind of got a heartiness and a cookie dough vibe from it.
So it's very dense, but low in calorie density. So it's a dense, high volume meal with low calorie density.
Chickpeas.
Wow. Oh, she added chickpeas to it too. So it's sweet potato, chickpeas, oats, half of a banana, and some coconut shreds.
Oh, you got some test. Good.
Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah. So here she talks about the baby.
Pretty sad because Romy seems to be eating more of it than I am.
And she's sad because she's hungry. Girl, you should have been eating some of those grapes. You probably had a whole bag of them. I know I would have been eating them while I made this.
She's loving it. She's going crazy.
Yeah, because she's like, ooh, food, mommy, food. And like, it's taken her 12 minutes into this video to eat this meal, and she's not even really eating it.
I'm just giving her.
See, the baby's eating it. She's like, yeah, mom, this is great. I love it. It's healthy. It's yummy. But babies shouldn't have chocolate. That's not good for them. Okay, she's still talking and she's not eating. Are you going to eat it? Are you going to eat it? She's showing herself feeding the baby and she's still not eating it.
The recipe over on Instagram later. So that will already be out. So
are you going to eat your breakfast? No, she didn't even show herself eating it. Like, okay, so she could have, I'm guaranteed she did eat some of it, but she's calorie restricting. It's very clear. The signs are there. I used to do all this kind of stuff, so I know, I could see it.
30 and you found me absolutely starving. I don't know what happened. It just
And now she's starving. Did you guys hear that? She's starving because, let's listen.
so that will already be out. So go and check it out. Highly recommend. Hello guys. So it's 1:30 and you found me
1:30 in the afternoon, and it looks like she's preparing lunch probably.
absolutely starving.
She's starving because all she's eaten today is probably about, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say that was 300 calories worth of food for breakfast, including her sweetened tea.
I don't know what happened. It just hit me. Romy fell asleep for a while.
It hit her because she has barely eaten anything today.
Editing loads of stuff. Then we were doing some packing.
So her cortisol level is elevated.
And then all out of the blue hit.
And this is very standard for people who diet, to have this elevated cortisol, and it only lasts for so long until you hit a cliff. You fall off that cliff and then you have some massive rebound. And then you blame your willpower, and you blame the food choices that you're making. This is classic, like high carb Hannah, right? Because she has a tendency to be cyclical with her yo-yo dieting, where she loses a bunch of weight doing this kind of stuff, and then she gains a bunch of weight because she says that, oh, she just indulged. But no, it's yo-yo. It's classic yo-yo dieting, binge, restrict, cycle. And that's exactly what Broccoli Mom's gotten herself into as well. It's addictive. It's addictive to lose weight, and when you find a diet that works, that you're able to lose like 55 pounds, then you stick to it. But it doesn't, and this looks like it's healthy, right? She's making healthy food choices. She's just not eating enough.
With the hunger. So I'm doing something quick and easy.
But what she could be doing, since she's so hungry right now, is sipping on some juice that's going to lower her cortisol level. She's going to feel more chilled out, and she's going to enjoy prepping her lunch instead of, and if she's prepping lunch, that means she has to wait for it to cook. So let's just keep watching.
Chopped up a massive potato into fries, stuck in the air fryer with some nutritional yeast and some salt. And I picked up loads of discounted Brussels sprouts the other day from the shops. So I'm just chopping those up, and I'm going to do, this is my special Brussels sprout recipe.
Okay, so she's still doing like a fancy recipe, even though she's starving.
It's a masterpiece, a crazy concoction, and I want to show you what I've got. So this.
Okay. Now keep in mind, she said that she was starving, right? And her whole plate is Brussels sprouts, kabocha squash, which there's like 4 pieces there. It has barely any calories. 1 potato is what she said. That's like 100 calories. A big carrot. What is this? Probably like hummus.
It's my feast. I have got a full bag of Brussels sprouts.
A full bag of Brussels sprouts. That's low calorie density, 50-50 plate at its finest. Keep in mind, she said she was hungry. She needs to eat. She's had about 300 calories today.
Cooked with soy sauce, garlic, balsamic vinegar, and a splash of water.
That recipe sounds great, but that should be a side dish, not like the main dish of her meal.
I've got a carrot. I've got 1 massive potato chopped up into fries.
1 potato. So that's like 200 calories max if it was a huge potato.
I've got some leftover kabocha squash.
That's probably like 50 calories. So we're up to 250 with the Brussels sprouts, 350. The carrots, like negligible. That's like 20 maybe. So 50, 200, 250, 100, 350, 375.
I've got some tofu mayo with some ketchup.
Tofu mayo is not on the maximum weight loss starch solution plan. Maybe it's fat-free tofu mayo. I don't know.
And loads of hummus.
Oh, and that's hummus. Okay. So she has more calories in hummus here than she has for starches, but it's a starch solution diet approach. And if the hummus is store-bought, it's probably has oil in it. But maybe she's, really particular about that, and let's assume it doesn't. But even so, this whole meal is 500 calories.
And I for one, I'm really excited because I'm very hungry. Anyway, I'm gonna go.
She's very hungry. She just spent hours prepping this and she hasn't had anything to eat. Like she could have been snacking on fruit juice, some lollies, some vegan lollies like Sour Patch Kids or something. And instead she's letting herself get ravenous, which is not good for your cortisol level and not good for your insulin receptor sites either, because she's going to slam them with this. And they're already going to be like programmed for fat storage because she's likely been in gluconeogenesis, because she didn't eat enough for breakfast. So her body is actually going to slow down the metabolic rate. A lot of this is going to go towards storage because her body thinks it's in a famine state. And then she's going to wonder why she's having trouble dropping the last 10 to 15 pounds. And it's because she's stressing her body out by not eating enough.
Go dig into this. This has got loads of non-starchy veggies, loads of starches.
It's not loads of starches. It's like 250 calories of starch. That's not a lot.
So much flavor happening.
Now you could do the same meal, but you want most of your plate to be starch and then the Brussels sprouts and hummus like as a condiment. Like the hummus is almost more than the starches.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm going to eat first. I'm feeling overwhelmed. But anyway,
she's feeling overwhelmed because she's that hungry. Oh my goodness, I feel bad. I want to give her like some apple cider or something.
This is a classic Amy bowl, and I'm going to go and enjoy this. So I finished that entire plate of food with a bit of help from Rami. It was delicious. I feel.
And her baby ate some of it too. So, oh yeah. I mean, so she's up to like, I'll give her 800 calories for the day.
So satisfied now. Perfect combinations.
She's actually probably still hungry, but the volume of that meal can, stay with you for a little bit.
So starches, non-starchy veggies, legumes, all of those things.
But where's the fruit? Because so far this whole day, she's only had half of a banana in her oatmeal or sweet potato cake thing. So that's very classic of people following the starch solution to not eat enough fruit. And fruit is where a large density of nutrition comes from that's in a very easily to absorb form.
And very energetic and yeah, really good. Anyway,
she's probably still running on cortisol vibes if she's feeling energetic. Like a meal like that, I mean, it should zen you out and give you some energy, but if you are running on cortisol all day because you're under eating, like that's going to be, something that you experience as well, especially in a meal like that that's very low calorie content.
Okay. I did want to say that I started off by eating my non-starchy veggies with like dips of hummus and stuff. So once I'd had that,
I mean, when I eat a meal, like I just like eat it and move on. Like I get that she wants to talk about it for her channel, but I feel like there's so much focus on food where like I just don't think that I think that it's a red flag for a problem. That's all.
I had a little check-in with myself, asked myself if I was still hungry.
Did she just did she just say that? Where she ate her non-starchy vegetables and then asked herself if she was still hungry? Girl, you need to eat like double the amount of calories that were in that meal just to make up for what you haven't had so far today.
Continue. I said I was.
This is a fixation. This is diet fixation. I mean, it's good to be in tune with your body, but she's at a level where she's like wants to lose that last bit of weight so badly that she's being very meticulous about the process, but she is digging herself into the metabolic damage hole. It's sad to see.
And yep, then I ate it all, and I'm not feeling too stuffed, feeling just right. So halfway through a meal, or maybe whenever you feel like it, just check in with yourself, ask yourself if you're still hungry, and then
you don't need to ask yourself if you're still hungry unless you've eaten a lot of food and you're like, am I still hungry? But generally when your leptin signaling is normal, you will just automatically know that you've had enough. But if you have to sit and ask yourself, that means you're having way too much mental control over your diet instead of letting your body control and dictate when it's had enough food.
Then go for it. Anyway, I'm probably gonna have another cup of tea because it is.
Oh, there we go, the stimulants. But she just said she's so energized right now.
So disgusting outside. It's drizzly and
No, she's having the tea, more tea, because she hasn't eaten enough today and she needs the stimulation.
cold and just like, eek, look at that.
That's not an excuse to have caffeine. Okay, let's see what she's up to for dinner.
Smell of fresh rice.
Oh, she's making rice. All right.
Isn't that-
Ooh, that's a lot of rice.
Better is there a
Oh, we're gonna get an ad. Oops. Let's go like this. Okay, I know this is like a horrible freeze frame, but she just has a lot of stress look on her face, you know, from under eating. I just want you guys to like take note of that.
house. Is there anything better than the smell of fresh rice?
I love rice. It's so
There's
good.
nothing better, is there a? It's actually the best. We're all in agreement. It's incredible.
Okay, I just want to mention too that she's very excited all the time about food, and I get excited about food, but I get excited and I eat it and then I'm done with it, you know? Like she's very
When you open up the Instant Pot seal and you get that smell, it's so delicious.
it is delicious, but I just feel like she is so hungry that food to her is like intoxicating, you know, and that's very standard for somebody who's not eating enough.
So I was going to have Indian tonight or Mexican, but I decided against it because I need to make sushi tomorrow anyway for our travels. So I thought sushi night. And
Yeah.
we've got my sister-in-law coming to stay as well. She loves sushi. So I thought sushi all around is a great one. So I've done 6 cups of sushi rice.
Okay, she's feeding other people. Yeah, I generally make like 3 cups of rice for my family, but we usually eat it all. So that's good that she's made a lot. Hopefully she eats a lot. Let's see what her bowl looks like. Okay, there we go.
And we do eat with our eyes. Anyway.
What is this? Cabbage?
So loads of cabbage, and I've got
Ooh, it's a 50-50 plate.
loads of veggies in there.
What's with all the seeds? Yeah, it's not necessary to do that many seeds. Eat more rice. But this is very classic, you know, low calorie density, calorie restriction. But you know, the maximum weight loss solution, it doesn't include seeds on it. And where is the fruit? Like she's had no fruit today. You're allowed at least 2 pieces of fruit on the starch solution maximum weight loss plan. And that's assuming she's showing everything she's eating.
As well, pickled ginger on the top. And I've done an interesting combination. I've done a little splash of hoisin in there. And also chickpeas with tofu mayo. I've just mashed that up.
That's a lot of, she's having a lot of protein. There's the tofu mayo again. She had chickpeas at breakfast, hummus at lunch, and now for dinner. It just isn't necessary. Just eat more starch.
And pop that in there as well. Don't know what that's meant to resemble, but it works. Anyway, so I'm going to go and dig into this. No,
I would eat 3 times the amount of sushi that she has on her plate. And look at how slim I stay, okay? That's end of the day, you know, like it's dark out here now, and I've already started to have dinner a little bit, and then I decided to record this. So yeah, just perspective, like you can lose a ton of weight eating a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet, eating starch solution, but you have to eat enough in order to build the high metabolism that you need in order to chew through fat stores and not compromise your health or your metabolic rate in the process. Because this style of eating, while it's healthy food choices, for sure, it's not enough. She's lowering her metabolic rate and she's going to struggle to lose these last 10 to 15 pounds.
No idea how hungry I am. Moderately, I think. I don't think that's anybody.
She's asking herself how hungry she is. Again, moderately. How are you just moderately hungry? You've only had 800 calories today. And that plate still is probably only 500 calories of food. Okay, I don't really want to listen to her talk. Okay, all right, so that's it.
Democracy is a team sport.
Sorry. Yeah, so that's it for this video. Broccoli Mom, has the right idea, but it's too low in calories. She's not going to be able to achieve her goal, and she's already probably has metabolic damage, and in order to get herself out of that, she's going to need to gain some weight back, reset her metabolism, increase her metabolism, and start losing weight the healthy way, eating an abundance of high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan food, unlimited fruit, sugar, starch. Yeah, that was like kind of like 1,200 to 1,300 calories. It's not enough. It's not enough to, that's the amount of food meant for like a small child, to meet their nutritional and energy needs, not for a grown adult, especially one that has the responsibility of taking care of a child. When I was in the thick of raising my children when they were very small and breastfeeding, I was easily eating 4,000 calories a day. And like I said, look how slim I am now. And it's because I've been consistent with my diet and getting in enough fuel. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the request from my coaching group to do this video, and I'll see you guys next time. If you have anyone else you'd like me to review, leave it in the comments, and catch you later. Bye guys.